Womanjika, Kuzazangpo, Kemcho, Salamat Pagi Abakaba, Asana Sante Bawana, Talofa. G'day, how are you? Oop, there goes the microphone being hit. Right, today I want to give you another update with regards to what's happening to me with regards to spirituality. If you haven't watched my previous videos, now I know they're a bit scattered on OSKAR Bento, but there's probably at least 5, maybe 6, including the video on clairaudence, maybe more. Videos, usually they're longer ones, they aren't the short arty clips that go for like a minute or 2 or 3. They're the longer clips when I talk about Yowies and Sasquatch and other bipedal humans, as well as spirits within the trees, other strange phenomena in the outdoors and in the bush. But today's going to be another update. Today's the, I think it's the 2nd of November, 2023. As you, hang on, it's a bit hit and miss this video, bear with me. I've got no script. Briefly, I'll say that, and you can watch my other videos, but I've had encounters with Yowie or Junjidi humans, other bipedal humans. I've seen them, smelt them, heard them, been paralleled by them, been scared by them, and I've turned around and walked the other way. I've heard them whooping. I've heard one grunt at me. I've had mine speak, and I've heard voices, hearing voices out loud. It's called clairaudence. Clairaudence is a word, it's 2 words combined, which is clairvoyance, or being able to tune in with the spirit realm. That's clairvoyance. And audio, as in hearing, so clairaudence, hearing the spirit world or spirit realm, whatever you want to call it. So I've been hearing voices from the spirit realm out loud, like another person standing next to you. Mind speak is when you hear a voice in your head. Clairaudence is very scary, but I'm getting a bit more used to it. Recently, I'll start with the clairaudence, seeing as I'm talking about it now. The 31st of October, which was like 2 nights ago. Now I'm pagan, or a witch, if you want to term me a witch, that's fine. The 31st of October is the witch's New Year, or New Year's Eve. And it's the closest time of the year. I don't know why, I haven't looked into it. I'm just an average Ross. But 31st of October is, they say it's the thinnest point between spirituality and physical form. So people pick up on vibes or voices or see things more often, and that's an aeroplane, it's not anything special. So clairaudience is when you hear a voice, but the 31st of October, I think it's called All Hallows Eve. That might be wrong, or All Hallows Eve or whatever. But it's the thinnest point in which we're in contact with the spirit realm. It's easier Now I don't do seances, I don't use a Ouija board or anything like that. I will speak out loud and speak to nature. I'll speak to the birds. I was speaking to a magpie before and feeding the magpie, even though technically you probably shouldn't. But it was a muesli bar. Probably high in sugar, yes, and fats, yes, and it was probably bad. But it was the closest form of food, unless I buy bird seed, to give to the young. And it's spring here in Australia, and I've been feeding this magpie, not every day. I let them eat their own foods. I haven't been here for like 4 days, so I understand that wildlife has to fend for themselves. But anyway, getting back to 31st of October, it's New Year's Eve, and the 1st of November is New Year's Day. But that night on the 31st of October, I knew it was the All Hallows Eve, and I was expecting a voice to call out my name. In case you don't know my name, it's Ross. It's not Oscar, but I don't mind being called Oscar, that's fine. A lot of people do. But I didn't hear my name being called out, which has happened 3 times. Twice in recent months, like maybe 8 months ago and 7 months ago, and one time was probably 20 years ago, but I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was overly tired. I don't know if I've spoken about this on OSKAR Bento, but there was a time, and yes, I was quite tired. And I think with the spirit realm, it's when you're daydreaming, when you aren't really focused on anything. If you're daydreaming and relaxed, mind you, or perhaps overtired. Overtired means, well, overtired blends into being relaxed, even though you're physically exhausted. You aren't concentrating. So when you're not concentrating, whether it's being overly tired or being relaxed, that's when, for me personally, when I hear voices or when I've seen the bipedal male Junjidi or Yowie and the face, and even being half asleep in a tent when I heard the Yowies whooping in Creswick. So a lot of the time is when I'm relaxed. I can be awake and walking around, and that's all good and well, or just sitting still being awake. That's when the spirit realm, for me, comes to fruition, whether it's physically or via a smell or via audio, a voice calling out my name. But on the 31st of October, I was lying in bed, and I was woken. I was woken by, and I've had this happen at least 20 times. I thought I was woken by my cat. Now my cat's name is Bento. That's the channel name. That's my 2 cats' names, Oscar and Bento. Oscar died a good 20 years ago. And now I've got Bento the cat. I thought I heard my cat on the 31st of October meowing. And I got up, and he was awake, but he didn't ask for food. He didn't want to be let out. He was just happy. I think he was cleaning himself on the chair, which is just outside my bedroom door, my desk chair next to the desk with my computer and everything. He was just cleaning himself. He didn't want food or anything. So I thought, oh, okay, here we go again. The spirit realm has imitated Bento's meow, and it's a perfect match. People who own cats can distinguish between different meows. They know if it's their cat or not their cat, especially in a fight, or especially if they're asking for food or asking for help or asking to go outside or come inside. It was definitely a Bento meow. But this was imitated by the spirit realm, I believe. Because when he meows, he asks for something, food or to go out or whatever. So I thought, okay, again, spirit has imitated Bento's meow. Now when this happens, I aren't scared at all. I've got used to it. I think probably because it is Bento's meow, even though it has been imitated. It doesn't scare me. Anyway, so while I was up, I went to the toilet and then went back to bed. And I stayed awake. I think I started to watch a YouTube video to make me tired and then fall asleep again. But after a few minutes, maybe 15 minutes, I heard it didn't call out my name. This is clairaudence, not the cat. On the 31st of October, 2 days ago, I heard it was like a whisper. It was like the spirit realm was calling me. It sounded quite close. All of the voices, bar one, are close to my door entry, my bedroom door entry. And what I have said to the spirit realm is basically like to give me a shield, give me protection around my bedroom. Okay, so that's working. And I asked for that protection after the clairaudence when it called out my name. So the spirit realm knows, or the spirit knows, whatever the spirit is, I don't know. I've asked for, don't come into my bedroom. So this whisper was at my door of my bedroom. And I couldn't work it out. It's like, I was trying to say something, trying to say words, but it was so mumbled that I didn't understand the words. But it was like, okay. So it was I knew it was at the door, which was quite close. It was quite, for a spiritual whisper, it was quite loud, because I heard it quite clearly. And I think I had my heater on this time. And the heater's quite loud. It was a whisper which was above the noise of the heater. It's a electric fan swivel heater. Now I know it wasn't the heater, for sure. It was a whisper on the 31st of October. And, I was expecting that. That was fine. But I was expecting a voice to call out my name or something to happen because of the actual date, the 31st of October. So that happened to me, as well as the cat meows, which the cat meows and waking me up, or Bento's meow, that's happened to me, as I said before, at least 20 times. And a lot of the time I will hear Bento's meow, and I go out there and Bento's fast asleep, dead to the world, asleep on his chair all curled up. And I'll pat him and he's asleep, he won't open his eyes, you know, and even if I strike him, he's dead to the world in Catland. And that's happened probably at least 15 of the 20 times. I'll hear Bento meow and I'll go out. It's only like 10 metres away from where I'm sleeping, just around the corner and out the door, and Bento's asleep. So that's the spirit realm. I don't know why. I think the spirit realm just wants me to know that they're there. Perhaps they want to know that, perhaps they want me to know that they're there and I'm being protected, perhaps. Or they want me to know that they're there and they're always there, like guiding me, perhaps. Because nothing evil has happened, nothing bad has happened to me, touch wood. So I think the spirit realm, I've got a connection. Now, g'day Magpie. Whether the voice that calls out my name and said hello to me once, and the imitating of Bento meowing is the same spirit, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be surprised. So that's happened to me, Bento's meowing, probably, or the imitation of Bento meowing, that's happened over the past, well, since the clairaudence, so maybe up to 8 months, which is interesting. I think because I was scared by the voice saying, calling out my name and saying hello, the spirit knew that I was scared, so the spirit is there contacting me via audio, just to let me know that they're there. I know that they're there, and I'd say it is protection, protecting me. Guardian angel perhaps, a past relative perhaps, female relative, I don't know. But I can't picture the voice that called out my name, Ross, and called out hello. There hasn't been a relative that has passed on that has a voice like that. Perhaps their voices do change in the spirit realm. Perhaps it is my godmother. Perhaps it is my father's mother. I don't know. Or my mother's mother. I don't know. Yeah. But another thing that happened to me, and this is the first time it's happened, like sometimes when I'm, especially down by the river is only like 15 metres away here to my right. When I'm down below and I'm looking up, sometimes I'll see little tiny black and white figures, only for like half a second to a second. And I've just come to the conclusion that they're some sort of natural mini hominoid creature, like a fairy or a goblin or a pixie or an elf. I believe that they're bipedal. They certainly don't have 4 feet, but they're little tiny black and white outlines. But they're more of a solid black and white, like a thick-bodied. They aren't thin. They're more of a pudgy, round figure, for the most part, that I can recall. but it's like a grey blob or grey blobs, because sometimes I'll see at the same time like 60 of them all across the grassed area or up on it happens when I'm at a ledge, and I see them more pronounced when the background is different to the foreground, if that makes sense. It's like us being in a boat and seeing the horizon. There's a vast colour difference between the sky and the colour of the ocean. It's the same when I'm down low looking up towards, say, a walking track, and the colour variation or the distance, it's easier to see a figure on that horizon, if that makes sense, for me. And that's happened to me at least 10 times. But another thing that's happened to me recently is, well, first of all, I know there's something going on around here in this bracken behind me. I know there's, like these 3 trees I spoke to you about really, really early on in OSKAR Bento. In one of those long videos, I've seen spirits come out of these 3 trees, like auras, and the whole landscape here. It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory's a garden, and it's all bright colours and glorious shimmering colours and landscape. But there's, in this bracken area, it's almost like a home. They live in that bracken, and it's quite sunny. It's sunny now. It's good coverage for a fairy, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's like a commune or a community or a village. I've just got some strange feeling that there's all, whatever they are, cryptid creatures or fairies or goblins or little people, they live in that spot, which is only, a few steps away. But one thing that did happen to me probably 2 weeks ago, Bento was outside, and I always bring Bento in at night time, so he's all warm and cosy, and he's got his food, I give him a snack. But this one night, a couple of weeks ago, I called him, and usually you just stand at the back door, and then I'll see him jump the fence, jump onto the top of the fence, then jump down and then run inside. But the moment I opened the door and called out Bento, I saw this black figure, probably the size of a cat, but it was a black shadow, run across we've got a covered area. It's like a balcony, a back porch, and we got a wooden decking. I saw this black figure run across towards me the moment I called out Bento. Here, Bento, come on. And this figure, it was like it was walking on 2 feet. It was hunched over like a cat. It wasn't upright on 2 feet. It was more like, if you can imagine a wallaby. A wallaby is sort of hunched over with his 2 little paws, or like a baby kangaroo, sort of front paws in the front, using its back feet to walk, but it was more hunched over, very hunched over, with its front feet almost touching the ground or the porch. and it was round, fairly long, and it ran quite fast. Like it didn't go boom, it just almost like running along, sort of bouncing along. And I saw it for a good 3-4 seconds, probably 3 seconds. And the distance it ran would probably be a good 6 metres. So work that out, 3 seconds at 6 metres, 1 second every 2 metres. So it's fairly fast it was only a tiny creature, but more like it was, the head was probably about so big, larger than a cat, and I had the impression of, or I saw, its face was more pointed. Whether it had its hair flung back, I think its hair was flung back, and its ears were almost pointed or angular. Perhaps like a bat's ear. You know how a bat's ear is quite large and triangular and all sorts of sort of sharp edges. So this creature, it ran on 2 feet towards me. I didn't close the door and yell or anything. I just left the door open because it disappeared into thin air when it got to me, when it got about 2 metres away. I think it would have run straight. It wasn't turning in towards me. So this black shadowy figure, as far as I'm aware, didn't run into the house. Was I scared by it? I was shocked. Like, I wouldn't say shock, but I was almost stunned. Like, oh, okay, shit, wow, that's interesting. So yeah, really hunched over, quite low. Like, it didn't have long legs at all. It had short, stumpy legs. I wouldn't say stumpy, it had short legs, very short legs. Its actual body, its torso was very close to the ground. It didn't use, I don't think, its front legs or front paws. It was walking on 2 legs, or running on 2 legs, I should say. And it was quite round like a cat. But as I said before, its head was angular. And perhaps its arms, they were also angular, sort of like sharp triangles. Interesting. So I saw this creature as well. Yeah. So I'm seeing all sorts of cryptid creatures nowadays, not just bipedal humans. I'm seeing other deities or other forms like that hunched over cat creature. It wasn't a cat spirit. Maybe it was a cat spirit. Maybe that was Oscar. But but nah, it wasn't a cat. It was some sort of creature that I've never seen in nature before. Yeah, interesting. So there you go. So they're the most recent experiences I've had. The voice whispering and me not understanding what it was saying. That's one, on the 31st of October. The second one, which I don't think I've mentioned, it's Bento being imitated 20 times, 20 plus times. And the third one was that black creature. It was a ghostly creature. It wasn't physical. It was shape-shifting or cloaking. Cloaking. So that's 3. I thought I saw something in the camera then. So yeah, I've had no recent smells. I haven't gone up to Belgrave for a while. I might go up there in the next few days because I haven't been there for like at least a month, 3 weeks. That's where I smell the very strong smells, and I've been followed. Down here in Warrandyte, my experiences are more kinder, more softer. And I see tree spirits here, as well as bipedal male and the face. And this is where I swim. There's no swimming area up in Belgrave. But in Warrandyte, it's a softer, kinder spirit realm. Whereas Belgrave, it's a more harsher, in-your-face experience with regards to bipedal humans, other bipedal humans, yowies or yahoo or junjiti or mountain giant creatures. But I'm going to leave it at that. It's spring or getting to summer, and this yellow blossom is coming out. I can smell the beautiful blossoms, and even these trees here, they're starting to blossom. So there's some really nice spring smells, and I'm going to absorb all these smells. And I've been using essential oils. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but each each morning I've been dabbing on my wrist and rubbing it patchouli oil. Patchouli it has a beautiful, sweet, almost smoky fragrance, sweet, mystical, earthy fragrance. So patchouli is one of my favourite oils, along with jasmine and probably rosewood, although rosewood is very, very strong. But I like subtle oils like patchouli, jasmine, and even rose essential oil. But rose essential oil, it's very, very expensive, but it's like, it's so gorgeous, so beautiful. But anyway, I'm drifting off here, talking about essential oils. But I've more or less used essential oils for at least 30 years. Clary sage is nice, geranium is nice, lavender of course, that's widely used. I sprinkle lavender and geranium on my bedding. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to leave it now. They're my 3 main experiences I've had recently. The whispery spirit, bento, bento meows, what's the word? Imitating bento meowing, and that black creature. That's quite interesting. I can't get over that really. Yeah, that little creature. It didn't growl, I couldn't smell it, I didn't hear it walking, I just saw it. I just saw a black figure running. Yes, I was a bit shocked, a bit stunned. I was half contemplating closing the door, but not really. Did Bento come in? Yes, I think Bento came in after about 20 seconds, which is typical. As in a typical time frame for Bento to jump on top of the fence and jump down and run inside. So yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, you be good, you be safe, and do bloody homework. Thank you. Yoink.